Hello, this is a new step for me. I have the trains running again that I hadn't been able to run for a while. You see the Polar Express freight train pulled by a Milwaukee Road engine moving down the track in that side. The collection of cars has increased since the last time I made a video, I think. So I've got a few more cars on that train. The Searchlight car is actually quite cool. That projects the Polar Express logo on whatever surface it's pointing at. A gondola car full of presents. I don't think I had running the last time I had the train actually on the tracks. You can hear the crossing gates as the train now is going through the crossing, and we've got two crossings with signals. The first crossing has crossbucks, the second one in a down barrier. The second one is just the signal lights flashing over on that area, and the down barricade is for the track 2 where I have the passenger train. So this is a big improvement for me to be able to have the trains running again, and what has made that possible is that I have actually finished up the work I was doing on the water feature. I'm going to pause that train, quiet it down in here a little bit, and the water feature I had totally rebuilt. If you've been following the videos, you recall that the water feature was leaking. The resin that is the real clear water was draining away underneath it as I poured it, so I ended up rebuilding it from its entirety. I stripped it down to the undersurface below the water features, pulled everything out, and rebuilt it in its entirety. And the last step I did yesterday was to add water ripples, Woodland Scenics product called water ripples, to the surface. And you'll be able to see in a couple of places as I pan through there where those ripples are visible. It's something you see, a feature that you see quite readily if you are looking closely at it, but if you're standing at a distance or shooting from a distance, it's less visible. So that is the water feature now pretty much completed, and I'm reasonably happy with how it turned out. I think it looks cool and adds another nice dimension to the layout. So the Polar Express freight train is running on track 1, and on track 2 we have the Polar Express passenger train running. We'll start that out and let that go around the track, and let's take a look at that. As it goes, the first place it's going to hit there is this crossing. So you see the lights flashing there, and it triggers the second crossing where the guard comes down across the crossing, and you see the lights flashing over there. The only, I think, addition to the Polar Express passenger train that I've made is the combination car. The train, as it comes up here to the end and goes around the curve, is got a grade that it has to negotiate, and when it hits that grade it takes a little bit more oomph, so I have to have the throttle up a bit higher in order to make it over that grade and around that bend. So the combination of curves plus the grade slows it down as it goes through that area. The passenger train is running well, and I'm going to get it around to the other side. I'll pause it and let you take a look at the combination car as I get there. She's coming around now. There's the baggage car after the tender, and the combination car is just not quite in sight yet. I'm going to let it get past the church, and there we go. The combination car is one of those cars that has snow on the roof. Into the Polar Express series a little ways. The Lionel started doing this where they added snow on the roof of the cars. So there's snow on the roof and footprints on the roof of the combination car. Back in the old days when they were on a short line or an area where the passenger traffic didn't warrant full passenger cars, they could run a combination car, which would be half passenger car and half freight or baggage, whatever the need happened to be on the line. And that's what's there. The depot is not permanently affixed yet. You can see it sitting there where it's going to go eventually, but I haven't permanently affixed it because I have my 7 newest remote control switches back at Lionel for factory warranty service. Once they come back from Lionel, I'm going to have to tear up the switches that I put in here temporarily, my old inoperable switches, and I will replace them with the new remote control switches, assuming Lionel gets them working the way they're supposed to. That will mean I have to tear the track up again and disrupt things, so I'm not going to fix the depot permanently until that happens. There's a few other things I'm not going to do permanently until that happens, because I'm going to have to tear up track and I'll end up needing to do some repairs after that. The layout though is coming along nicely. I'm quite happy with where I'm at right now. One thing I will draw your attention to, and that is the road. I had in the last video I made, I was pouring Smooth It, which is the product from Woodland Scenics that is used to create road surfaces. Woodland Scenics has another product that is for striping your pavement, putting the stripes in the pavement. That is really not doing a good job for me. So I need to find another solution for striping the pavement. That's one of my next steps. Probably have to go to Hobby Lobby and buy some Testors paint on Monday, and maybe build a stencil, make a stencil, and put that together. I've got concrete painted pavement around most of it. In that little side road that comes off right there to the grade crossing, I'm going to paint that in an asphalt color. Likewise, I'm going to paint that area right there, the parking lot for the IGA supermarket, in an asphalt color, and the parking lot up against the side of Sully's Tavern I'll paint in an asphalt color. And then as I pan back across to the other end of the layout, there's a grade crossing that is leading to the area back by the waterfall. That road that leads up to the grade crossing there, and the grade crossing, and I'll probably also paint in an asphalt paint color. And then the cross on the other side of the crossing, I think I'm going to do a 2-track trail made out of fine grit that would be used for ballast on the tracks. 2 tracks with like grass or foliage or something growing in between them. That will lead me to that next part of the project. And I'm going to see if I can get the Milwaukee Road engine to advance and pull that through the tunnel and clear a view of that area behind where it is. Now, I'm going to have to back it up a little bit and take a run at it, because the combination of a slight grade there and the curve just takes more power than more traction than the engine can produce. So here we go. We'll take a run at that, get some speed up as we're coming up to the tunnel, and be able to negotiate that grade and that curve and keep her moving as it comes on through the tunnel. The area that is behind that, right where I've got the camera pointing now, is going to be a project for the next week or two. And what we'll be doing as we get into that area is that we will be, and I'm going to bring this to a halt here, and I think I need to turn off the power to the layout, otherwise the bells are going to drive us all crazy as I'm trying to talk about what's coming up for the layout next. So I've got a 1-switch shut off that I can shut everything off with one switch that kills the lights, kills the bells, kills the power to both the Woodland Scenics buildings and lights and to the Lionel power accessories. But in that area back there where I've got a number of figures laying to eventually be placed, my intention is to make that into the North Pole setting. So what I'm going to be doing is bringing up the level on that, leveling that whole area, and then I'm going to be using some of the Plastruct brick pavement material that I have also used under the Woodland Scenics structures, built and ready structures that I have down at that end. And I will use that as a way to raise the camera a little bit and maybe get a better view of those. But underneath those I have Plastruct sheets that I bought from Oak Ridge Hobbies and Toys, and I aged those in an earlier video so that they are more like an old brick street would have looked back in the day. I'm going to do the same thing up here in the corner. I'm going to level that area and then pave it with the Plastruct sheets. If you recall from the Polar Express movie, the North Pole scenes, there's brick pavers on all of the at the North Pole, and so that will be a North Pole scene. My intention is to put a Christmas tree up there and have the figures standing on a level surface so that they can stand instead of falling over continually. So that's where we are with the project. I've got the water feature finished at this stage, and I've got the white water, the little dams and rapids, water ripples, reed bed, and the other features that are in the water feature. And then my next projects will be continuing to finish up the road, leveling that area for the North Pole, Christmas tree, and then we will be on to something new, because there's always something more to do. One last thing I'll just leave you with as I close out here is that I put the coaling tower in this area over here, and I'm reasonably happy with the coaling tower. It came out fairly good with once it was painted. The coaling tower should, however, be accompanied by a water tower, and so that we can fill the tenders with both coal and water. The Plasticville kit for a coaling tower I learned from one of the helpful folks at Train World. For the O gauge is exactly the same size as the Plasticville water tank for the HO. So it just looks too small. It looks odd, it looks too small sitting on the layout. So I am continuing to look for a water tank that is O gauge that would look appropriate, look the right scale when it's sitting next to the coaling tower and sitting as part of the layout. So that's something to be found somewhere. I'm sure someone makes one, and I'll be able to get one that's affordable, but I haven't come across one yet. But the Plasticville kit just doesn't work because they use the same tank, the same product for HO and O, and it just looks kind of silly. It looks too small when it's on an O gauge layout. So that's it for today, folks. I would ask you again, as always, to click the thumbs up button below and like the video. Also, subscribe if you haven't done so. I appreciate that very much. And any comments you have, if you know where I can get an O gauge water tank that's not over the moon in terms of price, I appreciate that as well. As always, any comments I appreciate, the likes I appreciate, and subscribing I appreciate. So thanks for watching.